Hey Mia, it's Miss Shar again. Hi. I also want to do a quick lesson on lesson book page 34 and 35, okay? It's just going over the chords that we need to know, okay? So, right now we've been dealing with chords in the G five-finger pattern. We did all the chords on the C five-finger pattern, but now we're going to be doing them on the G five-finger pattern. Now, it's a quick review, and hopefully you reviewed the other video with, it sort of covered lesson 30 and 31. I think that's what I titled it on YouTube. We're going to learn the chords for the G five-finger pattern. So, what is the G five-finger pattern? Well, you start on a note, G, and then you go whole step A, whole step B, half step C, and whole step D. G five-finger pattern. So, G, whole step, half step, whole step. G, A, B, C, D, C, B, A, G. That is a G five-finger pattern. Now, if you're to build a chord on the first note of the G five-finger pattern, you would go G, a third above it would be B, and a fifth above it would be D. So that gives you a 1 chord or a G chord. Now, what if we're trying to build the 5 chord or the 5-7 chord? We would build that chord on the 5th note of the G five-finger pattern. What is that? Well, let's find out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 5th note is D. So now D becomes the bottom note of the chord, okay? Good. So now we're going to build a third above that, F sharp, and a fifth above that, A. Now that's a 5 chord. Root, third, fifth, all together give you your D chord or a 5 chord in the G five-finger pattern. But this chord is not just a 5 chord, it's a 5-7 chord. So it's not just root, third, fifth. It's going to be root, third, fifth, 7th. So, D is root, F sharp's third, A is fifth, and C is 7th. It gives that chord a little extra kick. Hear the difference? Here's your 5 chord. 5 chord, but here's 5-7. It's like a little bit showier, I think, right? Okay, so if you look at it, it's funny. I actually was just doing page 35. Funnily enough, I meant to do 34. All right, so yes, here we go. So look, you've got the 5 chord of D, F sharp, A. You're adding the 7th of C. There you go. But the thing is, that chord is too big. So what they do is oftentimes, and if you look to the right of that blue 5-7 on page 35, you see that they'll normally remove the 5th of the chord. So not just D, F sharp, A, C. Take away the A, you're left with D, F sharp, and C. Okay? Now, but that's still kind of a bad position. So what we do instead is take the D, put him on the top. So you put F sharp on the bottom, F sharp, C, D. And that's your 5-7 chord. So it's really easy to get from the G chord or the 1 chord to the 5-7 chord, which is the F sharp, C, D, back to the 1 chord G. Got it? Cool. Here's the here's the exercise. Let's look at number 1. It starts on low G, not bass G up by middle C, but low G. So we do our 1 chord, which is our G chord. Then we slide our whole hand in to get that short pinky finger on the F sharp down here. That's F sharp, C, D, and then back to your G. Okay, and then there's a half rest. Take your left hand, move it up to bass G, do the same thing. Slide in, F sharp, C, D. That's your 5-7 chord, right back to this, and then you're off for another half rest. Right hand comes into the game, slide in, and then half rest. Got it? 1, 2, ready, go. 3, 4, 1, 2, off, half rest. Half rest. 1, 2, 3, 4, half rest. Okay, good. Quickly, let's go back over to page 34. Now, it says the 3-note 5-7 chord in C. Okay, so we're not doing the G five-finger pattern now. We're doing the C five-finger pattern. Good. What is that? Start on C, right? That's your first note. Then you go whole step, half step, whole step. Whole step, half step, whole step. Ah, C, D, F, G. So if we do a chord on the first note of the C five-finger pattern, or in the key of C, you'd have a C chord. Now, what if we want to do the 5-7 chord, 5 or 5-7? You go to the 5th note, which is G. Ha ha ha. Now play a chord, root third fifth. That's your 5 chord, G, B, D. But what if you want to make it a 5/7 chord? You don't just do root third fifth. You now add root third fifth, 7s. Root, G, B, third, D, fifth, F, 7th. Okay, but that's a big chord. So look to the right of the 5/7 and you'll notice something. Instead of playing G, B, D, F, they often will take out the 5th. It's the least important note of all. So you're leaving G the root, B the third, and F the 7th. But it's still a bad position to play. So what they do is rearrange the notes. Flip them around. Take the G that's on the bottom now. Put them on the top. Okay, so you're left with B on the bottom, F, and then G. You try. All right, so let's go to the exercise number 1 on page 34. There's your C chord. There's your G7 or 5/7. And there's your C chord. And then a half rest. Right hand comes in for middle C. And then a half rest. And then go up to treble C. And half rest. Coolio. That's page 34 and 35 for you.